Once you got the caliper all out, and I got just mine laying over there, you're going to want to clean that up. There isn't really a good way or a bad way to do this, but you're going to need some brake clean. There. Censored. Because brake clean cleans up brake fluid. As you can see, my plastic baggie did the trick. Just dripped down there onto the ground. You could avoid cleaning it up. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm going to. At this time, you're going to want to bring out your stainless steel brake lines. Mine were provided by Throwdown Performance, who was really easy and exceptional to deal with. We do have some vendors on the forum that are not so great. This cuppy line here, you get the camera to focus. This cuppy line here is the one that goes up there. This end here is the one that goes to the caliper. We're going to do that one last. So we're going to start off with the cuppy end, and it is basically reverse installation of removal. The only difference is how we're going to deal with the braids and the stainless steel lines. That I'll cover as soon as I get this all hooked up. So I got the brake line reinstalled. The retainer clip put back in. This tightened down. I don't have the torque specification for it, but that's okay because I don't have a torque wrench. That's not a socket anyways. So just before this pipe starts to move on you, you want to hold it down here with a set of pliers and then twist this one up here. Now we were talking about the braid earlier, but before I do that, I want to talk about something else. What Hyundai did was this actually has a rounded side on one end, and there's 3 little clips that hold this in place. I didn't know that, and I've never installed brakes before, so it's a learning experience for me. But you got to make sure that in order to get the throwdowns in, that you follow that guideline and look for the softer rounded edge to put that up in between the clips on either side. Otherwise it won't go in, and I just fought with it for 5 minutes before I finally realized that that's how it was built. The braid, you want to be careful. You want to follow the braid, and I can't really show it, but right there's the braid. And as you do the braid, you want to make sure that it's not twisted. So you want to bolt this up without a twisted braid, because your wheel's going to move. And when your wheel moves, it's going to twist that braid, and you don't want to over twist it. So when we hook it up, our wheels are straight, so we want that braid to be straight. Before you do that though, you need to pull open your box with your Equus caliper in it. Make sure your hands are free of brake fluid, because they'll eat the paint off of these things. I've got some rubber glovies. To line up the caliper correctly, we're going to need to temporarily put the Equus rotor on. Now, I don't have my longer studs installed, so this is just going to be temporary for now. I thought I'd take a minute and explain a couple of differences between the Equus kit and the Genesis kit. As you can see here, this is the brand new Equus rotor here. Now, there's already a big difference here, and people are going to go, oh, well, it doesn't work quite right. See, the Genesis uses 2 opposing retainer screws. The Equus uses a delta pattern for their retainer screws. So only 2 screws, or 1 screw, can be in at a time. These screws here are just for holding the caliper in place for when you pull off the wheel. If you're using a set of spacers that bolt onto here and then have longer studs sticking out, and they have little open face studs that go, or open face nuts that go down and hold it on, and you won't have to ever worry about it, because you'll just leave your spacers on when you take your tires off for rotation. People who don't do that, or just use a regular spacer like what I'm going to, they're going to have a little bit of a different issue. because the caliper is what's going to hold this in place once it's all bolted together. And they're going to have to rely on the fact that their mechanics aren't complete asshats or do their tire changes themselves. Because you obviously cannot leave this single screw in because it's going to be off balance, so we just take it out and it's not going to affect anything. Just so that people get an idea what exactly they're dealing with here, let me clean this up. I have no intentions of reusing these rotors, so they're going to be in pretty piss poor shape by the time I'm done. See if I can get it straight on. That's how much of a difference in rotor size. It's not significant, but it's enough that you can't use your stock rotors with your Equus kit. So you're going to have to shill out the dough and buy some new rotors. Now that we've got that settled, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosely hook up the brake line to the caliper, and then we're going to test fit it so we can get that brake line straight. So this is the caliper mounted to the rotor. This is the brake line that's been connected. Now you might have to loosen this off if don't tighten it up right away. Actually, keep this loose and don't put the retainer clip in because you might need it to arrange the cable correctly. It goes down. Now this is a big difference between the Equus system and the Genesis system. Is the Genesis has that little knob there, and the Equus has these two little bars here because its brake line actually comes down and up. The Genesis can't do that. You don't have enough cord technically, and as well as this piece here doesn't fit. So just ignore these. This comes up like that, pretty much straight. Now there is no travel here. All of your travel is going to be in this section here. So just make sure that that's where the majority of your cord is, but leave this down here a little loose so it does have some room, torquing or whatever, and you don't run the chance of breaking your cable. Then tighten this back down, and it's going to be really hard to show you in the video, but you can see from here that there's a solid light line that comes down. That is your braid, and you need that braid to be as straight as possible from there down to here. And then it's going to twist a bit to go down to here. You need this as straight as possible because as your hub twists, you don't want to over twist the stainless steel braids. Your rear section is a little bit different. If you upgrade your front lines to stainless steel, you should definitely upgrade your rears. So once this step is done, by this point you have either changed out your stock studs, or you have equipped a spacer that holds this assembly in. You've removed the retainer screw because you can't have that there. You're going to want to remove the plastic from here. Do not put your tire on without the spacer. If you put your tire on without the spacer, you're going to chip the shit out of this caliper. It'll just bang the crap right out of it. And that is basically how you install the Equus calipers into a Genesis Coupe. When all is said and done and you've got everything installed, that's what she's going to look like, minus the black lugs because those are my Mutegi lugs. You're going to have that nice big rotor sitting in there, and an even bigger caliper, and you actually got quite a bit of body space. But you don't have a whole lot of space there. As you can see, I tried fitting it, and I got a nick in my caliper. I'm going to use some brake touch-up paint on that.